Well, as 2025 is coming to a close very soon, well, Stardom just had their last big show of the year, and that is, of course, Dream Queendom. So we're going to go through it the entire episode on this one because it's probably going to be a long one, and I also just want to focus on this. So as you know, we have some special matches, the annual Rumble match that we definitely going to get to see, and of course we have the special match between Natsupoi and her best friend Sari, who, as you all know, recently has been lighting a fire in her. So we'll see how things go between them. However, as you probably already guessed, we have three big important title matches. We have the Goddesses Tag titles on the line. The winners of Tag League, Sakurada, Aya Sakura, and Sakura make their first attempt for the Goddesses Tag belts against BMI 2000, the members of Hate, Natsuko Tora, and Raka. But the real question is, can they pull it off? Because, as you know, this is considered a type of rematch from the finals of Tag League. Then, of course, we have the white belt. We have, of course, Saya Ida making her first attempt against Konami for this belt. And then finally, as you know, we have the red belt, the World of Stardom. Sayakami Tani faces Sayuri Anu. As you all know, some people believe this is a measure of revenge for Sayuri Anu to get even for Sayakami Tani for what she did to Tam Nakano last year. If you all recall, it's been almost a year since Tam Nakano lost this belt to Kamitani. And this is ironic where finally someone is going to take matters in their own hands. But the real question is, can she pull it off? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. And then finally, we will wrap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information is unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers, so let's get to it. So, as I said, this is going to be a one review episode only, so let's get started with Stardom. Okay, so let's begin with Stardom, Dream Queendom. So, as you all know, this is their final show. It always happens on this particular day, on December 29th. Now, this is one of those shows where it's important because it ends 2025 for them, and we can't wait to see what 2026 will be like. Now, let me pull up the first match of the day. Well, let's start with the pre show. They had a tag team match of the rookies. We have Kikyo Furuzawa and Emma Maishima. For many of you guys that know this, these two ladies debuted around the same time and they're part of the same class. However, they're facing a team that already was ahead of them, but of course, they did not debuted around the same time, but they debuted around the same year. But they actually were out due to injuries. We're talking about Ane Kanaya and Matoi Hamabe. Now we know these two ladies have returned recently due to injury. Much of 2025 was taken from them because of these injuries. But the real question is, can they pull it off? Now we have seen how good Kanaya and Hamabe have become since they've been teaming up left and right, and not to mention their return match they faced off each other. But of course, you're looking at Emma Maishima and Furuzawa, who actually, and obviously they gained a bit of experience since they debuted. While of course, Kanaya and Hamabe were in fact out. But unfortunately, it was of course Maishima that picked up the win when she applied the Boston Crab on Kanaya, and just like that, Kanaya tapped out, completely over. Now, our next match, which is our main card, we have Neo Genesis, consisting of Azumi and, of course, the return of Starlight Kid. As you all know, Starlight Kid has not been seen for quite some time, ever since she lost the white belt to Konami. So obviously she took time off, but she faces against Tomoka Inaba and Shuri. Now, recently, for those who may not remember, before, of course, Starlight Kid went on her little time off, there was a bit of tensions between her and Tomoka Inaba, and that kind of splits up the whole thing between them. Now, of course, Inaba would definitely try to take her out. I mean, she is a fantastic striker, and not to mention, she did inherit the Michinoku driver, which is Taka Michinoku's move. But in the end, it was in fact the Sky Tiger by Starlight Kid that in fact sealed the deal for her to pick up the one on Inaba, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. Welcome home, Starlight Kid. Now, our next match is the Rumble match. Now, we have plenty of wrestlers that were making their way, so this is who participated, so everybody can understand. We have Rina, Akira Kurigani, Ami Sori, Azusa Inaba, B. Priestley, Fukigen Def, Hina, Kyoka Katatsu, Koguma, Lady C, Mei Sita, Miko Amasaki, Momo Kogo, Olympia, Rane Agami, Rian, Saki Kashima, Wakasu Yukiyama, Yuna Mizumori, Yuri Him, and then finally Yuzuki Aikawa. Now, for those who are not familiar with Yuzuki Aikawa, she is a veteran wrestler. She was something else prior before wrestling, but she's also been known as the first ever Wonder of Stardom champion, the first white belt champion, in case you guys know. But she makes rare appearances in Stardom whenever she can. I mean, she retired not a few years back, and not to mention she became a mother of two. But it's great to see her. But this is exactly how the elimination went on during this entire Rumble match. Let me pull it up again. Kira Kurigani eliminates Rian, but apparently she got eliminated by Azusa Inaba. Then Koguma eliminates Azusa Inaba. Lady C, Kotatsu, Lady C, Amasaki, Momokogo, Rian, and Yuna Mizumori eliminates Koguma. Then Yuna Mizumori eliminates Rane Agami. Olympia eliminates Kyoka Kotatsu. Then Amisori and Lady C eliminates Momokogo. Fukigen Def eliminates both Mei Sita and Yuna Mizumori. Remember, she pinned both of them at the same time, so I wouldn't be surprised if Fukigen Def challenged her for the high speed belt. Then B. Priestley eliminates Fukigen Def by pinfall. Then, of course, Olympia eliminates Waka Tsukiyama. Lady C eliminates both Ami Sori and Olympia. Then Saki Kashima, well, she played one on Lady C by trying to be all happy with her, but she put her in a Kishikaze. Then Rina eliminates B. Priestley. Then Yuzuki Akira eliminates Yuri Him. And then, of course, she was eliminated by both Hina, Miyu Amasaki, and Rina. And then, of course, Amasaki eliminates Hina. And that leads, of course, Rina to eliminate Miyu Amasaki when she applied the Pink Devil. And, of course, there was that. Then, of course, Rina did a little post-match promo. I have no idea what she said. But, of course, we did see Yuzuki Yuzuki Aikawa made a promo. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Hopefully, I found out what that turns out. Now, our next match is a very interesting one. We have Mi Vida Loca, consisting of Izuki Aoki, Rina Yamashita, Bozilla, Suzuki. They take on, of course, the members of EXP, Hanako, Xena, and Maika, but they're joined, of course, by someone who, in fact, Maika and Hanako teamed up, and that is, of course, the Megasis, Megan Bayne. And I think many people were happy to see this one because A, Bozilla and Megan Bayne were going to clash, and B, it's going to be an epic fight. And of course, it did. I mean, Walter Stewart was saying it's kind of like King Kong versus Godzilla in some manner, even though they were in Japan. It would make sense of reference. I mean, I'm sure many of us would have assumed it was going to be a winner, but however, that did not turn out in that way because unfortunately this match ended in a double countout after 16 minutes and 27 seconds. But however, of course, as soon as it was over, of course, both sides were getting each other's faces. They were beating each other. I'm sure they're trying to outdo. I'm sure Megan Bayne and Bozilla are trying to say, I'm the better one than you, bitch. And that's always been something like who is the most dominant and powerful being. And I think we might see those two face off. I mean, it could be either in a Stardom ring or, in fact, in an AEW ring. And who knows? I mean, Bozilla did get a lot of praises in AEW before. Now, our next match, Azuki faces against Fuwa-chan. Now, for those who don't know who Fuwa-chan is, she's someone who's been around on YouTube, and she has wrestled before a year ago, and she teamed up with Azuki. Now, not too long ago, she made an appearance saying that she's going to take wrestling full time, and that's something I think no one expected. But, of course, she picked her opponent for this particular day, and that is her senpai, Azuki. And of course, Azuki had no problem whatsoever. Now, if I know Fuwa-chan knows Azuki is no slouch. She's not the type of person who would take it easy on her. I mean, I know Azuki from what I heard that she is tough. She doesn't hold anything back no matter what. And that's exactly what Fuwa-chan did. She knows exactly what Azuki was made of. I mean, I have to say Fuwa-chan took it to heart knowing this was not an easy battle, but she knew how tough Azuki was going to be, and I was personally impressed by her by how tough she became. But unfortunately, Fuwa-chan's debut, re-debut, ended with her losing, thanks to Azuki applying the senton onto her. And then, of course, Azuki asked the fans what they thought of her, and people were cheering. And it seems like they got that Fuwa-chan got the stamp of approval. And of course, Azuki was very proud of her, knowing that she has done exactly what she was meant to do. And I think it really brought tears in her of joy in her heart, knowing Fuwa-chan really took it to heart exactly what she's going to do. We know she'll be participating in more events, so we'll see what happens down the road. Now, our next match, this was a very special one, Suri and Natsupoi. Now, for those who don't know, these two ladies have been best friends for a long time. Even when Suri, when she went to the United States, Natsupoi always called her, even on her birthday, you know. And that's a very strong friendship. But however, Natsupoi never took it to heart to try to surpass Suri because she felt like it would be an insult to her. But for Suri, it's like she's saying, like, why you're holding yourself back? She felt like something has not been right with her. I mean, we know Natsupoi has not been herself ever since things have changed. I mean, she is trying to hold the Cosmic Angels together with the loss of the original leader and, of course, the one they love so much, Tam Nakano. But man, she really, Natsupoi really took it to heart, knowing the fact that she has to do what it takes to surpass her. And that's exactly. I mean, Suri, she's no slouch either. I mean, she is tough as hell. But however, Suri applied multiple Uranagis on her until the final one became the nail in the coffin. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Now, our next match, people consider this one as a rematch, but this one is for the Goddesses of Stardom. This is the tag belt. For those who may not remember, Sakurada, the consistent of both Aya Sakura and Sayakara, are young Cosmic Angel members. They became this year's winners of Tag League. And this was something that many people might have hoped for because if you guys know a little bit of background, let me give you a taste of that. For those who may not remember, last year, um, Sakura Sayaka actually made her decision to join the Cosmic Angels, but later, a month or so, Aya Sakura, who came back from injury, also made a play for the Cosmic Angels, and it became like a battle who was going to be first. And of course, they both were joined at the same time thanks to the approval of Tam Nakano, Sayuri Anu, and Natsupoi. But of course, there was a bit of jealousy between both Aya Sakura and Sayakura due to the affection of Tam. We all know that Tam Nakano always had affection for Kurara for ever since they first met. But of course, she wanted to see these two succeed no matter what, and that's exactly what she did. I mean, I'm sure Tam Nakano is proud of them that they won the New Blood Tag Team belts and became Tag League winners, and they won individual matches. I mean, not to mention Kurara was 2025 Cinderella tournament winner, and Aya Sakura won the Sendai Girls Junior World Championship, and that's something, of course, that Tam would be proud of. But now they're facing against a team that plays dirty, that they would do whatever it takes to win, and they think they're tough, and that's one of the toughest battles that both Aya Sakura and Sakura knows. They know exactly the type of tactics they would play on them. I mean, using referees to distraction, using weapons, putting them through chairs outside the ring, and not to mention the miss by what's her name, by um, by Natsuko Tora. But however, this match ended with, of course, Raka applying a German suplex on Aya Sakura, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. And of course, we did see BMI 2000, in fact, loading the fact that they won. But of course, Aya Sakura and Sakurara, they're frustrated they lost, but they're not going to let this end this way for them. They will be coming for those belts one way or another. I mean, if they're willing to determine to keep on going forward, then that's exactly what they do. Because remember, guys, they learned things from Tam. Tam Nakano never gave up on chances of whatever championship she wanted. She never gave up on the white belt or the red belt, and now they have to follow the same path as she did. So we'll see what happens down the road in the future for them. Now our next match is for the Wonder of Stardom Championship, aka the White Belt. Saya Ida became one of the competitors that wanted to challenge them, and if you guys recall, she was part of a number one contendership against Amisuri, and luckily she won. But however, of course, Konami, as you know, dirty as she is thinks she is the toughest person. Is not to mention a fantastic striker as possible. But Aya Ida is one of the strongest individuals. Like, don't let the size fool her no matter what. And of course, we know that Konami would try to use the spray can on her, but Saida will see that coming a mile away. But unfortunately, she ended this match by applying a submission on Saida, and just like that, one, two, oh, no, was it? Never mind. It was submission, and that was it. And of course, Konami had to gloat. But of course, Saida is not done with her yet, but sooner or later she will come after her. But however, her next challenger is of course Rina. As you all know, she won the Rumble match, and she feels like she earned the right a shot of the belt. And now she's going against her own teammate. Now, of course, they'll probably play dirty tricks on each other, but we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match, which is our main event, is for the World of Stardom Championship, aka the Red Belt. Sayuri Anu versus Sayaka Mitani. Now, of course, it's no secret that Sayuri Anu's friendship with Tam Nakano has not been well documented. I'm sure that people would say this is more of not only just to gain the red belt, but also a bit of revenge for Tam Nakano. If you all remember what happened last year, Sayaka Mitani attempted to take out Tam Nakano by choking her and all that. But however, Kamitani made one fatal flaw. Sayuri Anu is nothing compared to Tam Nakano. Tam Nakano may be sweet. She's not the type of person who will stoop in the same level as Sayaka Kamitani. But Sayuri Anu, she does have that capability to do so because she can play both heel and face whenever she wants to. And I don't think Kamitani saw that coming. I mean, Sayuri Anu gave Kamitani a taste of her own medicines. Remember, Kamitani choked out Tam Nakano with the chain, and now she was chasing a bit, getting a taste of that medicine. But however, of course, there was a moment where her nose was Kamitani's nose was busted, and of course that led to Kamitani to get pissed. And then she applied the Star Crusher on 2 occasions, but when she finally hit the second one, that was it. One, two, three. She ended it. And not to mention, Kamitani had to cry like a little girl knowing the fact that her nose was broken. But Saito Ano told her that she looks better with her nose broken. And not to mention, she said that she'll be back for that belt one way or the other. And I wouldn't be surprised if somehow Saori Anu gets that title again on uh, on April 26th, which ironically was the day that Tam Nakano was forced to retire. And of course, Kamitani made it clear that she will always be the face of pro wrestling because A, she's the MVP, but who knows how things will roll. But don't forget, she'll be facing Shuri on January 4th at Wrestle Kingdom for the IWGP Women's Championship. So stay tuned for that. But however, later we did see, of course, Starlight Kid. She made an attempt now to become the next challenger. Now, Starlight Kid did stated she's now aiming for the red belt. Ever since she lost the white belt, now this is her next goal. And her reason is she wants to be Grand Slam champion to stand alongside Io Sky and Mayu Iwatani. And I would say she could pull it off. So we'll see what happens until then. But for right now, we are officially done with Stardom. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events. So as we start with some updates from GCW. Now, as you know, we have the Do or Die event on New Year's Eve that will happen in Richfield Park. They announced Teriyaki versus Griffin McCoy. And then, of course, on January 3rd in Chicago, they'll have the one night only. The GCW World title will be defended. Actwres Koger will defend it against this little sicko. And then, of course, we have the Ultraviolet Championship. Matt Tremont will defend it against, what's his name, Dysfunction. And then finally, as you know, on the 18th, they will be in Wichita, Kansas for Crime Wave on the 18th of January. We have Shotzi Blackheart will take on KJ Orso, formerly known as Fuego del Sol. Now, some Stardom updates. As you probably heard, the 2026 will be very soon. They just announced the Cinderella tournament will begin, of course, on the 6th of March, but it will end on the 15th in Yokohama Budokan. Now, for those who don't know, this tournament it's only like a couple of days, like at least 3 or 4 at max. So basically, that's how it's gonna be. It's not a whole month tournament just to gain points. So just to keep you guys updated. And then also they announced that the return of the All-Star Dream Queendom will take place at the Yokohama Arena on the 26th of April, which of course many of you know this was known as the last time we see Tam Nakano. But I mentioned this, I wouldn't be surprised if Saito Anu gets another opportunity in dethrone Saya Kamitani on this particular day. Now for West Coast Pro updates here. They will be returning. They'll be heading to Oakland on the 7th of February. If I have any subscribers are from Oakland, well, this is your chance to see them. They just announced the debut of Leia Knight, so that's pretty good. Now, also a very interesting thing happened. Many of you know this, how GCW have the collective. Well, it seems West Coast Pro started this thing called the New Initiative that will happen also on WrestleMania week, and they already announced the schedule for this particular event. Let me pull it up for all of you. It will happen. Will start on the 8th, on the 16th of April. They announced New Texas Pro Wrestling will be there. St. Louis Anarchy, and then of course a West Coast Pro show. And then there's 2 shows that will take place on April 17th: Action Wrestling and Pride Style. And then of course, so yeah, so basically it's a 2-day event with the New Initiative by West Coast Pro. And I don't know if they're trying to copy the collective, but it would make sense that they want to get them involved. But yes, that's pretty much it for that. Let's keep on moving on the upcoming events. New show announced by House of Glory. They'll be making their return back to Chicago for Turf War on the 6th of April. So that's the name of the event. And then, of course, AEW has announced for their next pay per view that'll be Dynasty. They'll happen in Vancouver, Canada on the 12th of April. So if I have any Canadians or Vancouver subscribers, well, mark this in your calendars if you're AEW fans. So check it out. Now, moving on to some developments. Now, as you all know, certain members of the War Dogs, their contracts are almost up. Amongst them right now, we have Drilla Moloney. According to Fightful Select, his contract is almost up, and he's looking in exploring U.S. options. Now, I'm not sure if WWE has any interest in him or if he's interested in going to AEW. That's the thing we don't know. But he's not the only one. So is Clark Connors. His deal with them is almost up, but he's evaluating his options as we speak. But New Japan are hoping they get to retain him. Now, Fightful Select reports that Gail Kim had turned down an offer from WWE. Now, I'm sure that many of you would want her to join WWE, but it's still unclear why. But she felt like, she understand that this was a suck moment thing for people. But yes, it is what it is, and there's nothing anybody can do about that at the moment. Now, Actwres Girls recently has announced a new girl making her debut real soon. Her name is Moya Momoha. She's about 147 meters tall. She has a background in cosplay and acting. She previously appeared as Anchor at the Comet 102 and Uni at the Tokyo Game Show 2024 for the Goddesses of Victory. So basically, she has done a lot. So she is the newest person involved in this whole thing. Now, Kenny Omega has put out a little something saying he thanks William Regal for his statement showing concerns for the safety of wrestlers today in the ring, and he gives his own input. This is what he said. This is a company versus company or wrestler versus wrestler. This is about a general awareness and knowing that the costs of what we do directly relate to the amount of severity of risk that we take. Keep in mind, as athletes, we aren't created equally. As we're responsible adults, we need to be realistic and know our our own physical limits. I have to uh, give my head a shake if I wanted to try to twist a twisting shooting star, but I'll never say to pack. So basically, that's the thing, guys. Kenny Omega's like saw what Regal's put. I forgot to mention Regal put an update about it, something on his neck injury, and Kenny Omega feels that it was the right that he made that it was a great info to hear because we know that wrestlers are not invincible. They do take a risk when they hurt themselves, and this is no longer. He's saying this is not about company versus company, wrestler versus wrestler. This is about awareness, and that is something I think that many people are ignoring too. It's not we see wrestlers put their lives on the line and it's something we've been hearing. So yeah, now moving on. Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer mentioned that Hologram is still out, but he has a long way from returning. Now we do heard rumors that Cologne his copy El Clone will be making his return soon, so we'll see what happens. Now Stardom president has had some things to say about Fuwa-chan's next match. Apparently, he said that I believe it will be Korakuen Hall on January. That we will have multiple of January on the 10th, 11th, 21st, and 31st. So final adjustments we need to make announced within a year before her first scheduled match. So yes, so apparently Todokata is fully invested in having Fuwa-chan to be part of the roster. So it's great to hear that from him. So yeah, so that's pretty much it right there for all of us. So as of right now, we're officially done with our news updates and everything else. Let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you probably know, we're hitting the Tuesday, so this will be possibly the last NXT of 2025. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I do believe we have the NXT Year End Awards. I believe that's what it is, so we'll see about that. If there's any other events that I'm going to try to review, I'll do those, but we'll see how things will roll. But as of right now, we'll leave things as it is. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.